The nostalgia has to be popping pretty hard about now. What is up, one and all? Happy weekend to all of you, and also one that's going to be stacked full of Age of Empires 4 action. That's right, we have got the EWC main event, the Opposers World Cup number 2. Very obviously and cheekily designed with that acronym in mind. And it's going to be a pretty stacked one, actually. Yeah, like, check these names, guys. So this is our group stage over here. We've got Marine Lord versus Jif, Wham versus Sass, Vortex versus Scatter, Puppool versus Voldemar, Lucifron versus Numadon, BC versus Myriad, B versus Corvinus, and Anatan versus Core. I figured we probably would kick off with Lucifron versus Numadon. I think Lucifron maybe not much public time on the game. Might surprise... what just happened there? What? I'm frozen. Are we good now? I think we're good now. That's very weird. This one's fine though, right? Dude, I had this last night. I don't know why. The camera just like had a heart attack. That's very weird. It came up with a code overlay. I'm going to have to double check the software's all updated on Elgato's side. I think that's what's happened there. But yeah, I figured we'd probably start with Lucifron versus Numadon. Vortex versus Scatbrain could also be an intriguing one. The boys should be getting set up now anyway. And there we go. We have got them. Three Little Pigs is going to be drafted by Numadon. And, you know, this to me, the matchup that maybe felt possibly the closest. I was kind of intrigued to check in on Marine Lord versus Jif, just because Jif really impressed us, taking some games off some top players. So he's definitely been cooking. But Lucy versus Numadon, I think the exciting thing there is Numadon kind of like, he comes and goes, right? But I feel like Lucifron has been the same more recently because he just hadn't had as much time to dedicate into Age of Empires 4 as he has historically in previous years, right? It's just the way things are played out for him. Vortex, on the other hand, has definitely been putting more hours in this bro. But as we know, Lucifron's always there as a scrim body for Vortex, has been for what feels like the longest time. Those two just go hand in hand. So, we are going to see bans out on Socotra, Lipany, Holy Island, and moving out. No surprise, Numadon bans away Holy Island. That right there is a respect ban. Shows you how much value he puts on that for the Spaniards. They are phenomenal on those maps. Draft is going to be underway. Ottoman Sengoku opens up the draft. I don't know why. I'm not feeling the Pokemon scene right now. I do feel that, though. Holy crap. Did anyone else want a Red Alert 4? It would probably be bad. But at this point, after what happened with Red Alert 3, I'm willing to take the chance. I can't be alone in this. Or just Red Alert 2 Remaster. Like, it's insane. Red Alert Remaster was when? It was like 4 years ago, right? It was 6 years? For Conquerors. Did they do Red Alert? I don't think they did, right? Yeah, so we're just stuck waiting with a junk in our hands. It's kind of sad. Like, I honestly think Red Alert 2 is a superior game to this in every way. But, I don't know. Maybe one day. Golden Horde draft coming in, by the way. Lucifron and Vortex seem to be doing this a lot. I've noticed this, right? Like, they regularly seem to pick Golden Horde as kind of a semi-priority. I think part of it is it's, like, underexplored. One of the big advantages Vortex and Lucifron always have is their ability to circulate through all the different mutations of what a Civ can do more rapidly than almost any player in the competitive history of Age of Empires 4 because they are always there iterating with each other, and the workflow process is very much quantity over longevity, i.e. they would rather play the opening 10 minutes 50 times than play the 50 minutes of a game 10 times, right? They're very big on this. So with that in mind, Golden Horde definitely makes a lot of sense. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if they're high prioring on the draft Yufei when they come out, even if Yufei is a giant poop on a stick. Trying to give it over Numadon is intriguing though. Like, this is, I don't know, this is to me a very potent draft from Numu. If you had to highlight very comfortable picks for him, I think these three are just there. You know, China just kind of surprised me how he crept up on that, but French and Byzantines has always been great for this Swedish mad lad. Ranking, by the way, if we look at like AOE4 World, I'm pretty sure Numadon is still holding pretty high. Yeah, he's 25th in the world. Another Volta Esports member, by the way. Lucifron's main is 138th, but I know that's not his only because he was playing against Vortex on a Smurf. I'm just going to see if we can find the name of that Smurf here. This one. This is Lucifron. He's 33rd in the world right now. So the Mojo Yo-Yo account is his. And also, that is with only, 57 games played. So he'd probably be higher. Tuklak coming out. No surprise there either. Remember, the Spanish bros love this pick. Vortex, that was meant to be the staple pick to rebound on the Rebel War LoL LAN if it wasn't for the unfortunate occurrence where he didn't pick the governor, which completely just decided that game, really, more than anything. Macedonians to round out for Numu. Yeah, Macedonians, I think Lucifron would have been tempted to that, but we have to be real. He had Japanese available at that point. And Mongols, I think, maybe fits well because of Three Little Pigs. Frisian. Maybe even, Coastal has some value there. One thing you do want to be mindful of here is, in some ways, Lucifron is kind of handcuffed on Coastal Cliffs. I think you want Coastal Cliffs played sooner rather than later because Tuklak sounds a bit funky there because the stone's so far out. Golden Horde hate playing that map. They seem to just suck on that map because they can't get to the stone either. And Mongols can be hit or miss depending on the matchup, right? There's good matchup and they attack great, but if they have to play defensive because they're up against, I don't know, Macedonians maybe, yeah. Actually, I guess you can kind of get away with Mongols. I wouldn't say there's a huge threat point on that map. But yeah, it definitely feels like it's a type of map you want to plan for to play midway through the series, not at the end of the series, just because of that limitation on your draft expanse, right, on what you actually cover. So, game one. Marlians, Golden Horde, Chinese, Byzantine. Okay, so this is for Dry Arabia, right? Yeah. Snipe coming in now. I imagine it's probably going to be Marlians getting sniped, and then... Well, do you ban Chinese? Because China would just fast castle your ass if you play Golden Horde, no? If they get a reasonable sheep rotation. He snipes Golden Horde. Hold on. What is Numu cooking with? Haven't we seen this recently in Byzantine just get bum rushed by Sofa Donzos? Actually, would it be Sofa Donzos because of the longbow threat, right? You don't really want to go Javs because I guess Marlin can outweigh you on Javelins. And longbow, I don't know. It's been a hot second since we've seen this one. There was a time where Byzantines were really good against Marlians because you would just rush the first pit mine with a hero siphon early on and burn it down, and you got all this overlap because you'd be hitting a mine, you'd be hitting 2 or 3 houses, and it just stacked way so much damage into them they couldn't really trade efficiently. And Numidan is one of those super aggressive Byzantine players, by the way. We've seen it a lot in the past. Yes, I've been playing Deadlock again. I've sinned. Dude, I felt bad. I was bullying people with Kelvin. Actually, I lie. I didn't feel bad at all. I felt pretty good. Oh, I just remembered. I haven't got score overlay on, have I? So I need to flip that on anyway. God, I love this song. Do you know what probably makes more sense? Yeah, that makes sense. Very nice. Honestly, I don't know. I don't feel like I'm that big a fan of, Chinese electric rock. But then I hit the Dynasty Warriors soundtracks, and I'm there wholeheartedly. All right, so the boys are setting up a lobby now. We've still got, a few minutes. So, a reveal on the draft. I think if I had to give the edge to one player here, Numidons is just very safe and logical, right? With 3 little pigs and a curveball of Tuklak, maybe Jean has some viability here we're just not seeing clearly. I don't know, and the Marlian pick. The Marlian pick to me is king right now, things that get through. But I wouldn't write Numidon off at all. This to me could easily be a 5-game series. I think this, of all the series, is the one most likely in my eyes to go 5 games. Actually, Vortex Scatterbrain might shock people as well. I wouldn't be surprised if Scatter gets 1, maybe 2 games of Vortex. I'd still favor Vortex currently. Marine Lord Jiff, I think it should be a 3-0, but maybe there's a one where Jiff gets a game. Wham versus Sass is probably going to be 3-0 or 3-1. Vortex, Scatter, 3-1. Puppy Paw Voldemort, I think based on Puppy Paw's playstyle and current form, That might end up being a Frio. Maybe Voldemort gets one. BC versus Myriad. I'm going to say 3-1. I don't know, like, Myriad can surprise. Maybe even 3-2. I think Myriad has been creepy. It's not that BC's been declining. It's like, I actually think Myriad is just getting a lot better. B versus Corvinus, 3-1. I think that's a bit generous because Corvinus did get wiped by B in the last tournament. And Anatan versus Core, I'm expecting a 3-0. But remember, this is opening rounds of the group stage. So you're kind of meant to have things play out that way anyway. Are you going to play Olden Era stress test? Hell yeah. Dude, I got it here. I can tell you it's bullcrap as well. The campaign on Impossible is bullcrap. I've got 12 hours on it already. We'll probably... I think we'll look to stick some of that in there. Oh, wait, no, sorry, Gender. Wait, was it 2? You're right, actually. No, you didn't get white. Oh, I remember what it was. Every game was super quick. You're right. Yeah, that one should be close. You know what I was doing? Thank you, Gento, for reminding me. I was getting the finals mixed up, which was where B just blitzed his opponent. Like, he beat Anno 3-0, right? That was right, yeah. Thank you. I totally got them mixed up. That's my bad. I still would say B should be favored here, but yeah, like, I think 3-1, 3-2 in that case, yeah. Because yeah. Thank you for refreshing. So that was, I think the average game length for the B Corvinus series was like 15 minutes, right? Am I remember that correctly? A lot of the games were like feudal GG'd. They were very quick. Pretty sure I remember that correctly now. Both are wild as... Yeah, I think the interesting thing is B is like... B finds a way of being wild with the expected, whereas Corvinus goes for the unexpected. Does that make sense? Like, the way B plays Marlians was just so ahead of everyone else when the sofa changes came in. And it's like, you can see the sense it makes, even if it seems chaotic. Whereas Corvinus just tends to go for super off-meta and chaos. You love the Ultimate match? Has so many surprises I see, and saw how he did survive from that. Well, the Ultimate matchup between B and Corv? Trying to remember the most memorable Otto matchup we had. What Civ was he up against? It was lower ranked players. Ottomans versus Iobids, right? That one surprised. I can't remember who the players were now, but that one was crazy because the back and forth for the Mangonels. B1 versus Anatan recently in the Ramadan tournament, right? Yeah, so we were casting the grand finals that, and B just washed him away. 3-0, it wasn't even close. B's low-key meta maker? Dude, yeah, that's why I feel that's why I love his playstyle so much. I'm not gonna say I do it on the same level, but like, I mean, dude, in different games I've always been like this. Like, when I played a lot of Dota 2, I played position 4. And position 4, in my eyes, has the most freedom to do what they want, pick-wise. Mid is also the other one. But people argue against that. But there are B playing, like, a carry as a support. And I'm like, this would be good eventually. And the hilarity is, like, 2 years later, it become, like, tier 1 meta. I'm just too early, man. No, I love doing that, though. So, you know, anyone who knows their Dota, I played a lot of, like, Ursa support before it even was starting to be used. And Ursa is super duper just hit and make money. Don't gank and don't rotate on lanes or whatever. And we would do that. So like because that's the thing to me. Like, I'm a hipster. Like, I'm a hipster when it comes to this crap. I don't want to perfect what everyone's already doing already. I'd rather have more fun discovering what's next. That to me is 20,000 times more enjoyable. And I think I've always kind of been that way, even since I was a little kid. I still remember going on like the new Call of Duties when they come out. I'm like, yo, how do we get out of this map? How do we get out of this map? How do we find these new spots? And now this is my obsession. I absolutely loved it. So Lucifer and Numadon, we're just waiting for them to start now. That's it. Do we go? That seems a bit better. So hopefully it'll be underway momentarily. KP is back. Tell a friend. Guess who's back? What do you guys think of Pragmata last night? If you guys didn't catch it, it's in the VOD. I think I'll play more of it. Maybe we'll do a little bit on stream at some point. It's an interesting game. In some ways, it's innovative. In other ways, it's very familiar. And I don't mind that. I just feel like Capcom is literally, by far, the best developer this year. Publisher, definitely. Like, I don't think anyone's coming close to them on the publisher front. Like, yeah, GTA is going to come out. It's going to be amazing. And we're going to... Like, but let's be totally honest also. We're going to feel scammed because they're not releasing on PC for like another year. But even Crimson Desert, all this kind of stuff. Like, when I look at it, Capcom is just hitting it out of the park. Monster Hunter Stories 3, not my cup of tea. I thought it was too easy, but I see the appeals, going for the Pokemon vibe. Resident Evil, incredible. And Pragmato's been fun in the opening anyway. And then, later this year, is anyone in the chat an Onimusha fan? Because I am so excited for that. Dude, I am to the moon and back about Onimusha. I'm a very big lover of Onimusha, even though I mainly only played 3 when I was a kid. But what I did play and have copious amounts of hours in is this. I don't know why I said Tactics. Onimusha Tactics on the Game Boy Advance, which I think is just meant to be like, is it Ogre Tactics or whatever? Love this game. Easily over 100 hours in this game. I think that's where my love for Japanese like history started to come in, actually. All right, boys, in game. Did I finish Crimson? I haven't finished Crimson Desert. I'm like at chapter 7 or 8, and I just stopped. We got like 70 hours locked in on that game. I had a lot of fun. I just think I want to do something else at the moment. I still think it's a great game. I would never put it on like the caliber of Skyrim or Cyberpunk, but you know, it deserves like an 8.5 rating. I hate any of these like reviewers that were like, yeah, it's like a 5 rating game. It's like, what is wrong with you? Are you high on the job? Fire his ass now. But seriously, it's like, it just shows you these people had a rigid system for how they weigh a game being good or bad and didn't respect or appreciate freedom. Back in the toxic AoE scene, dude, every scene has toxic people. Like, I'll stand by that we have unfortunately got some toxic elements, but every scene has it. My goal is to provide and give the love to the people that enjoy what we do and basically ignore the haters. Much easier to destroy things than build things, right? Rather build things. I might start doing like a deadlock day, actually, on stream. That'd be kind of cool. Hello, Carlo. How's it going, buddy? Anyone playing Toxic Commando? If so, what do you think about it? I played Toxic Commando on stream a little bit, actually. It's a cool game. You definitely need friends. I think it's pointless and boring on its own. But it's very much kind of Left 4 Dead expanded into more of like a Call of Duty Zombies style. It's decent. Definitely not Game of the Year or anything, but you know, if you've got a friend group, you'll have a chill time. You'll get some vibes out of that. Guys, I'm gonna run. Oh, can I not run ads? I think it just ran ads already. That's annoying. Oops. Hey, thank you very much, Carlo. I appreciate the gift of sub. Thank you, buddy. But yeah, it's a decent game. I think I've even still got keys for it somewhere. Maybe I just realized I've got like a bunch of keys. I should start giving things out to people. I got like a bunch of Windrose codes. I still need to find some time to play that, actually. I got Sent Atomic Heart, Airborne Commando. Tides of Tomorrow kind of intrigues me. That comes out in a few days. Just like, I think, I don't know. Like some of these games, like they kind of look cool in my brain, but I know it's going to be like a flyer. It'll just like pass by. Can't believe he sniped Golden Horde ahead. No, I'm baffled by it, man. I can't believe he allowed Malians. And he had to assume that China was going to get banned away from him, right? So, like, Nimi must be cooking. But like I said, that this used to be a good matchup for Byzantines. Because they could rush the pit mine and just starve you. Because, like, a Malian player with no gold is not a Malian player, right? A Malian player with gold may be conking rank, but he'll play like a gold, you know? It's just that important of a detail. But like I would have, you know, it would have made sense if you were on a map like Gorge, because Gorge usually has more exposed gold, so you could have exploited that. That used to be the best map for Byzantines to do it. But Dry Arabia, to me, feels like a coin flip. You'll either get an opportunity to shut him down, or you'll get shut out. No in between. All right, one sec. Because I just realized I accidentally just closed everything. I'll run a minute and a half ads now for you guys so you don't get them in game. How's my mum? She's trucking on like a trooper, man. They can't operate on the cancer. I found that out just before I went to London for Londinium. So they basically, she's got like a full scar down her chest now. They ripped her open, had a look, and when we can't do anything with this because the tumor is peppered all over like the bowels and the lower area. So it's just kind of everywhere. The good news is it shrunk, and they're going to continue to give her chemo to try and shrink it further. It's just heartbreaking, obviously, that like she went through all that and just to get crap news out of it. But yeah, like the thing is with that tumor, it was the size of a 16-week fetus, and it got shrunk down to a golf ball. So that's huge, right? That's incredible. But sadly, they won't be able to remove it. So it'll be constant, ongoing treatment, and we'll see how things go. Dude, this song's so good. Anyone know the game? Thank you, Zuba0T. Thank you, Carla. Appreciate you guys. All right, here we go. Man the Combat Stations tournament time underway, and this is wild. You never see this. Lucifron was allowed the Malians in the opening game of this tournament series up against Numidan. That's right. The options was Golden Horde or Malians, and he chose to snipe Golden Horde away from Lucifron. Is this a sign that the Spaniards know Golden Horde best? Or is Numidan cooking something against the Malians? We'll have to see. His Byzantines got let through, something I think he anticipated after offering up China. That is always a priority ban here. Dry Arabia, of course, is going to be our map to kick this off, and a pretty good spawn coming in to kick this off as well. Guys, just take a look at that. That is gorgeous. Everything you need on the backside of your base. Initial spawn-wise, I don't know if I've seen a Byzantine player with something this nice in a long time. The extension is a bit awkward, though, because the berries are forward, the deer is forward, boar's wide. So, like, there's definitely some negatives here, but the initial start, very impenetrable. Unfortunately, he's playing against a Malian player, and Malian players don't rush you. Right? It's very rare to see a Malian player play the Dark Age. They lean into going feudal and then pressuring from there. Sheep Hall is going to matter early on, and I got to say, it looks like... Oh, he's going to get cut off. Check the scouting pattern there. Great start for Numidan, but there's a reason. Lucifron just sacrificed part of his rotation to get ahead of his opponent. So although he looks like he's behind because 8 to 10, he's now going to easily take the lead. Now it's on Numidan to sense that something is not right and steer off earlier. Not just that, timing's really good for Lucifron to sniff out the good spawn, because he'll be rotating all the way around the back and see everything. And looking at the spawn for Lucifron, this is kind of a sucky spawn, right? This isn't too bad. Oh, wait, no, it is. Oh, dude, the tree line. Okay, so this gold is attracted behind the tree line, but he won't be able to build houses around it for his pit mine. Remember, the pit mines generate gold for the Malians based on the number of houses around them. So he's blocked on like 2, 3 houses. Back gold is good at least, but then the other gold is forward. It's not great. What is going to be great is the fact that Numidan is still none the wiser to this. Guys, he's been stuck on 10 sheep for like the last 30, 40 seconds. If he doesn't wake up, it's going to stay that way. Lucifron, ooh. Okay, no. Did he really miss it? He did. The funny thing, though, is like Numidan seeing these 2 sheep might make him keep going north. And the reason we're focusing on the sheep game so much here is with that initial spawn for Byzantines, there's going to be a force to come out otherwise if you don't get a lot of sheep. So it looks like he's going to be heading back now. How do these two want to play it? Are we going to be getting that flamethrower rush out of Byzantines? With this spawn, I'd be surprised. He has a good defensive spawn, and his opponent has a defensive gold. So the idea of rushing this as a target doesn't seem that ideal. And then on top of that, it's very hard to get across the map, let alone get behind the enemy base, when you know in the current meta, Malian players love sofas. That's right. If you're a Malian player and you're not building sofas, you're living life the wrong way, man. Like, sofa play is hella strong. It is definitely the way you want to be leaning in almost every matchup currently. Maybe the exception being someone like French. Oh, nice play on the deer. I think that makes sense from the fact that like Lucifron's looking at this and going, okay, he shouldn't really be attacking me because I will have those sofa. Also puts him in good position to set up the pit mine afterwards, even though it's a bit sucky. And the deer further north, beautifully placed. So there's a lot of value just shifting north here. That's the positive. Although the gold placement isn't great for Lucifron, the thing that he has to be loving here is that everything pushes north. The reason that's good is, let's say your opponent did happen to go cavalry somehow, you'd be able to just funnel yourself into one direction to keep yourself safe. I mean, even the tree lines. It's like he built his base close to a sun and there's just a gravitational pull. Everything just getting yanked north. So we're going for tier 4 already. Nimidon taking advantage of the opportunity to build up while he can before any opening pressure comes through. Lucifron didn't have the villages necessary to try and get a snipe there, which is unfortunate because that's actually a pretty haul of sheep. It would have been the difference maker. Numidon currently with the lead by 3. 13 to 16, decent start for him. Oh, we've got to do predictions. Whoops. Let's set that up now. So Lucifron versus Numu. You know, I was saying, like, on paper, I kind of expect this to be a series that could easily go all the way based on what I've seen recently of the two. I think Numidon has been kind of consistently improving, and it's not that Lucifron's gotten bad or anything. Very talented player, but obviously hasn't had as much time to dedicate as other players and other aspiring pros. Second Pitman coming in. He's just going to accept it. So he's going to miss out on 2 houses, I think. He should have the room to slot that in there. So just 2 houses missed out on. Still stings a bit. An LO, mum. An LO stables. Okay. I think it's because of the deer. Numidon wants to be aggressive. So we're going to get spears plus ponies. Lucifron just going for sofas. Easy raiding unit. You don't need many of them to do a lot of damage, remember. And current predictions are not only Lucifron favored, they are only Lucifron, which surprises me a little bit. Anyone who knows the history of like the weeklies we ran and everything will remember that Numidon, one of his chief threat points was actually Byzantines. I made a statement on it that it was one of his best civs, full stop. I stand by that. Lucifron, is it going to be double stables? No, he is going to diversify. So archery range coming in as well. Interesting situation, interesting day and age we live in. Like, instead of just seeing javelins now, you often end up seeing archers on this civ. Which is interesting because in this particular matchup, it could open the door for a javelin contract. Does seem unlikely due to the fact that Numidon has already built stables. But would give him kind of a sick curve point here. Unfortunately, doesn't have that info yet. So Western contract it is. Lombos to come. Forward system just going to be harassed. That's going to reveal just how many spears deep we are. The cool thing about that is, like, when you play at this level and you played this matchup this many times, you can gauge quite quickly whether your opponent has diversified into different unit types yet, based on the number of spears you're seeing, right? We'll come out with the outpost secure. Lucifron just looking to project full force forward. We can end up revealing the archers quite quickly at this rate. I kind of see what he's going for, though. The timing is good here. Oh, and that's sick. Look what he's doing. The sofa. They hit so hard this early on. He's going to be able to micro shuffle. With archers coming in, the idea is that Numidon could get pushed off of this tower entirely. Another sofa does slip in there. 2 heavily injured are coming across. The Acrotoid does get activated. Maybe a little bit greedy there. Is going to cost Lucifron. -2 sofa. He's trying to buy just maybe another 10, 15 seconds for the archers to get in position. But Numidon, with that Soul Horseman read, gets all the breathing room in the world. Great play there by Numu. Damn, that was actually sick. It looked like for a second Lucifron was going to get away with something disgusting. But this is the power of the defense there. The Acrotoid just make the difference between you easily getting sniped and that one horseman. You could see Lucifron was slipping through a very specific timing. But Numidon, he sensed it, responded perfectly. Reason this is important as well, this is the Ford Berries, this is the exposed one. So he's taking the dangerous resource now, saving the better, easier to access for later. And it is better, by the way. This is the 8-stack. Is it? 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, but I don't know why, my brain was counting 7 for a second there. So sofa spam going to continue. Lucifron has not added any cow yet. No, but this is the difference. Normally you need the cow, but because he went deer, he obviously has this extended life. It's why I like that Numidon, although he's building horsemen, hasn't moved out yet. Is realistically, with the way your economies are playing here, you are the weaker party currently. I say currently because we also have to remember that Lucifron already lost 2 sofas. Didn't get that much in return for it. and his opponent is now scaling to the mercenaries. Cows have been queued up. Good eyeballs from chat. So Lucifron is now making that transition. Boosted to his food. Like the horticulture play here as well coming in. Numidan just juicing up the berry gathering, which right now he's got, what, full 15? 13. 13 on berries, or rather olive sources, because he's got an olive grove already in. That does make sense, right? Like, if you don't think you're going to attack, and you know Marlene's going to scale into infinite economy anyway, it's a pretty good idea just to kind of stack up the farms early to insulate yourself for later. Sorry, I just realized I don't think we have the tournament logo up. There we go. Shout out to the Opposed World Cup guys for running this. Flash coming in. Nice raid. Sofas. This is the thing that Sofas are insanely good at. It's just catching you split because you need so many spears to guard your base. And you know, you'd be like, oh, but KP Knights can do that too. Okay, but two things, right? One is that Sofas cost you 60 less resources. And two is you aren't reliant on a charge at all. You could actually add in 3 that they're faster. The reason that's important is like when you have a knight, you kind of feel like you need that Lancer charge or it's going to be expensive. With these guys, there is no charge. So you don't get this baited moment where you might stun yourself because you're too busy trying to min-max your damage. Which makes Sofas feel so much nicer. It's weird because once upon a time, similar to Sipahi actually have gone through this now as well, it just felt like the undesirable unit because it was way too dangerous and risky. It felt like you could lose the game in an instant. Nivedon has had enough of waiting around, though. He is moving across. A good read. Waiting around doesn't help him here. Yeah, because you just end up trying to swat away flies constantly. Sofas are going to march in. Archer reveals there. 20 archers already out of Lucifron. Numidan has to start backing up a little bit. Does engage with the horseman. Sofa line is going to spread out. That gives him the blocker. But the Limitane count is low. Numu doesn't have anti-cav. Oh, no. It's so much worse than that, actually. He hasn't cleared the forward food at all. And on top of that, the Sofa are completely unaddressed now. They dive in for the longbow wipe. And Lucifron now has the strangle point. Sick play and an immediate GG speed run of game number 1 and a showing of exactly why the Marlians are to always be feared. Maybe he should have sniped them after all. That was quick. All right, maybe I fluffed up Numidan's chances a bit too quick. In fairness, like this pick, we expected it, right? Like, it always felt like it was going to be hard the moment you saw Marlians on the board. So, G2. It's going to be Gorge. He will get his Golden Horde this time. Let me check for you guys on what got banned. Japanese was sniped away from Lucifron, and Chinese was sniped away from Numidan. I think you kind of expect that, though, right? So, there's an element of at least you know what you're going to get, and that can address the snipe choice for you as well if you're Numu. But Golden Horde's going to be cooking, guys. I think Golden Horde, in the hands of the Spaniards in particular, is like super scary right now. They have time and time again impressed me. I think the thing they love about it is if you think, how would you summarize Vortex and Lucifron? It's like lovers of micro, right? And the cool thing about that is I actually think that Civ, more than almost any in the game, gives you an opportunity to fixate on microing. You kind of have to. You've got these very tanky units, but they can be very finicky over time. So you've got like limited opportunities to get value out of them. Golden Horde's weak early game and French is strong early game, though. Yeah, like French just continuously scales, right? That's why I'm curious to see what Lucifron has in mind, because he's probably going to be forcing his spears, but like Spear Torgud is like very annoying. It's very micro-intensive for French, because obviously you're going to have to be on point with the archers. And then you add in like a Karash as well. I think there's something very polarizing, and I've heard it from players before, about Torgud compared to like any other cavalry unit in the feudal age. They may not kill you quickly, but the way I described them recently, it reminds me a lot of... Yeah, I think that's the way to address it. It reminds me a lot of Demi-Lancers, where Demi-Lancers looked really pathetic, and then you realize, oh wow, they just kind of body fights. All right, I'm going to run a minute and a half ads now, by the way, so you guys don't get any in-game. Oh. Do we have live score updating on Liquipedia? Let me check. Because I just noticed in the cheats they don't, so we're best looking at it on here. All right, so I can confirm predictions are kind of on track so far. Wham is 1-0 up against SAS. Anatand is 1-0 up against Core. And Vortex is 1-0 up against Scatterbrained. BC Myriad is still ongoing in Game 1. Voldemort Puppy Paw is still ongoing in Game 1. Well, I don't know. I'm pretty sure Voldemort is playing in a different tournament. Whoops. Yeah, there was like someone else was organizing a tournament on the same day. So there's like a very weird overlap. You've got Voldemort now playing a different tournament, and it's like a best of 5. I don't even know if it's grand finals. Like, basically, Voldemort is going to end up holding up the entire bracket on day 1. Oops. I actually wonder if he'll get DQ'd if he takes too long. Well, not DQ. He'll probably get default loss. B versus Corvinus. I don't have the results showing on Wikipedia for some reason. I don't know why. Because they're all meant to be playing at the same time, but it doesn't show anything for them yet. Who knows? Maybe we'll be hopping across to there. All right. And of course, they're the wrong way around. Mirrored. Wait, did he actually want a Beastie? Poor Chad. What a goddamn Chad. I said he'd take at least a game. I think it was going to be close. I think Beastie should still win it, but I think it's going to be close. All right. Here we go. Game number 2, and this is the man to fear when it comes to Golden Horde. If you're a Golden Horde lover and you're trying to learn how to play this Civ right now, I can think of no better players to check in on than Luciferon and Vortex. They've just got away with this Civ. They've put more hours into it, I think, than most players, and it has paid dividends. It was banned away, and Marlins was allowed in the first game, but this time he will get his hands on it. Luciferon in the yellow as Golden Horde on Gorge. Now, the problem with Golden Horde, one of the weak points is they suck against Dark Age rushing civs. Their games can almost end because of that play. But the choices here is Numenor was allowed either French or Chinese, and Luciferon bans away China. The funny thing is, either one of those civs doesn't really Dark Age rush. There was a time where China would, but not really anymore. But Luciferon, I think the goal here, the thing that I like about this thought process, French players, you're not really expecting to castle rush. China, you kind of would. And I actually think that Golden Horde looks best when they get to play a bit of a longer feudal age. What's intriguing, though, is more recently, we have seen French players opting for fast Imperial builds again. And that is a bit of a scary thought because Golden Horde don't really speed up when it comes to teching up much. They get a little bit faster, but actually, no, they get a little bit faster than it used to be. I think it used to be 2 minutes and 5 seconds, now 1 minute 50. But the point is, Golden Horde, similar to Abbasis, doesn't really like getting in full tech races. So I wonder what it's going to be doing here. Is there a world in which we see building carts? I'm not sure. I feel like you won the Tortugud, but building carts could be kind of intriguing for getting the spear timing alongside maybe stables, get 1 or 2 Keshiks to raid with. Really, what's going to be a big deal is going to be the opening rotations with sheep. And it looks like there might be a huge edge bubbling up here for Numenor. Check that. They are neck and neck on sheep, but the difference is that Numenor is now on the opposite side of the map after Numu shared this area with him. So Numenor should be coming out strong here. Potentially 65, 70% of the sheep. I don't know what happened here, actually. I think, if I'm not mistaken, he just kind of missed the rotation. Didn't realize what happened, and then basically, because he didn't see Numenor scout, ran through territory that had already been gathered. That's cursed. Yeah, we'll get predictions up for game 2 now. There you go. Yeah, this is going to be a huge advantage. which is important. I mean, remember, both of these civs, they don't really get anything out of berries, for example. They need to kind of see the value in sheep and then things like deer. Cool thing with Golden Horde, they do have one of the easier transitions into farms with their stockyards, which remember are the buildings that hold 4 permanent sheep on them for you to gather from. But very dicey thing to have to do when you're up against an aggressive civ that also over time just gets more villagers. What is kind of interesting actually is there's a huge advantage early on. You see it in the villager count now. Long term, that's meant to balance out against most civs because you produce 2 villages every 37 seconds instead of 40. The problem here is you're against a civ that is already producing villages every 17 seconds. So you may take 37 seconds for 2 villages, but they only take 34. You'll always fall behind against French. Tordegood in 20. Did not go for the building carts. I tried. No one, like, dude, I'm that guy at the streets. Like, anyone want to buy a Uwu anime phone case? Anybody? And I'm just outside like an old people's home. No one's buying for it. That's how it is whenever I try to find a way to make building carts make sense. Does it mean it? Nah. I ain't gonna buy that today. Okay, so Tordegood production underway. Alongside the Batu Khan. Other side, first French knight already hitting the field. Love the wheelbarrow timing as well, which means he'll easily be able to run away if a raid comes in. The value of wheelbarrow here is Luciferon probably doesn't have it, and we can see he actually doesn't. So when you go to raid with your knight and he goes to raid with his knight, you can more easily shift away and back, limiting idle time and limiting risk. While also just having a better unit for getting kills. Oh, you won't see there. Luciferon, in the end, it is going to be 20-13. So Numidan winning the sheep game in a big way. Should GH start with an extra village to compensate for the effect of double production? Maybe. It's like such a weird one that they start them so far behind. Because the other weird thing you have to remember that kind of sucks with this element of Golden Horde, you may get 2 villages every 37 seconds, but you're still waiting 37 seconds to get any increase in villages. This is the Order of the Dragon issue all over again. Hey, like my knight's really strong, but I have to save up double the resources and then wait longer than other civs to get it online. Definitely a problem. A little bit of poke coming in. Shivs immediately come out as well. Other side of it does force him away, but Luciferon dodges any damage done there. Yeah, did not opt for an outpost, which is surprising considering how good his spawn is. Luciferon got double stone on the same screen with his gold in between. One outpost should anchor you here really nicely. Tordegood are going to go hunting. Knight does get away though. The nice thing here would be to intentionally kind of split the Batu Khan a little bit to get him low so he heals out of combat. Because otherwise, Tordegood are just going to eventually run out of health. There's more knights coming home. There is going to be a split in Despairs here. Luciferon knows he can't compete on just cavalry. I mean, it makes sense. You're never going to be able to keep up with French knights. Their DPS is way too high. Wish they had a sick villager to make them less crap on water. Yeah, there's like a lot of weird things with Golden Horde. In some ways, I appreciate how the devs are trying to make the civs feel different, but the problem is when it comes to starting villages as a baseline, it's very hard for you to change that format and make it less and it not just feel like you've lost the game already in some cases. Yeah, it's definitely a bit weird. Walls coming up. Whoa, not just any walls, guys. That's a great wall of Sweden right there. He's walling half of the map pre-10 minutes. You don't see that often, especially from France. Yeah, I thought he'd be content just to spam knights, trade out in the Tordegood hits, and then just move on from there. And we don't have any archery range, right? We do have a blacksmith smuggled at the back, but no switch into archers just yet. How do you guys gamble, by the way? 4% for Luciferon. Okay, like, I want to give you guys a lot of credit. I thought this was just going to be a Luciferon fanboyism. It's not, so props to you on that one. Lucy has got another batch of Tortugude on the way soon. Wood being stockpiled up, I think we are going to be seeing a switch soon into stockyards. I mean, he has to, right? He's out of sheep. He moved out to the deer and the boar. So actually, he's buying a lot of time there. He's respecting that detail we said, where if you have to switch into the farms, you better have some sort of advantage. So what's the win condition for these two? I think for Lucifron... The way he's playing wide, it almost feels like he's looking for a kill point in feudal as opposed to castle build, which a lot of Golden Horde players prefer at the moment. Because otherwise, why wouldn't you just start staying up stockyards and hunkering down, playing defensive? Instead, he's playing risky resources to get better gathering points. For a reason, right? So it looks like he's just going for a full blob, whereas Numidon, his win con seems like it's meant to be gradual playing to castle. When you mass knights like this, it seems very powerful. But if your opponent is just raw massing spears and you aren't respecting it going into archers, usually that means you're putting yourself in a position where you need an out of teching your knights better. Chivalry is going to be on the way in now. Nimidon is squaring up towards the fort of the base. Love the Karash detail. Which makes everyone a bit more tanky. Also pre-preps Lucifron if there is an archer transition. You'd be surprised just how much more you can get done with a Karash with your spearman when you're up against archers. And we'll begin the burn here. Problem is Lucifron, yeah, he left his spears out with the deer. I do like that Numu's trying to use this spawn against him a bit, though. Nice snipe of the scout, because the way this is played out is that you've got all your stone one side and then all your food the other. Same with gold, actually. Like it just pulls you in a very odd way if you're Lucifron. Because obviously you want food, but this Civ really thrives off of that passive stone generation over time. So any interruption there is huge. Especially if you're going for a game strat that revolves around getting something big, like, you know, batch production as an example. I do wonder if there's a world in which Lucifron goes towards Sarai Lancers. Sarai Lancers is the one that gives your Tortugude the same ability the Keshiks have where they can attack and heal. It requires yeah, I was about to say it requires castle, doesn't it? Yeah. I keep forgetting that. I don't know why. In my brain, I keep feeling like Sarai Lancers should probably be a feudal tech. In fairness, it would probably be broken. Undermesh being prepped, so he does know about the switch. He's actually caught Numidon at the perfect time here, really. You've got your Karash, you've now got your +1 armor coming in before the first archer even reveals. Nice, now with the dive in. Treeline could be a prime target. Gay on the north side to get away. Lucifron will have it in time. Let's switch over the tree line. So Numu's just kind of trying to flex and out micro here. Does get a worker kill for his troubles. So not too bad. Unfortunately, there's a problem coming. This is bad. Numu, he only has a few knights left to defend, and he has archers against Tortugude. They do nothing. This is a sick timing from Lucifron. He buffers away the raid, he minimized the casualties, and now he goes seeking his own. Into the choke point, Knights will try to hold them there for a bit of time. Tortugude will most definitely win that type of fight. Even has a Keshik in there, which is pretty cool. A little bit of burst damage potential to get rid of those knights faster. The villagers are going to be in trouble now. Yeah, I mean, he's got no one to defend with here. And needs to get the rest of the army home. Knights are now moving across. Great charge there from Numenor to get back home a little bit faster. Lucifron, for all his troubles, he does yield some kills. That's 3 kills on the board. Maybe another 2 to be had over here. He's going to find idle villagers sleeping. And Lucifron able to get out with remaining cavalry, now equalizing the economy. That is humongous for Golden Horde. Yeah, this is not an eco situation you're meant to see, let alone the military. Don't get me started. That was incredible. What a strike in. Lucifron just completely outshining French at heavy cav raiding, which is meant to be the #1 thing that French are goated at. Even adding an additional Karash now for the follow-up fight. The problem is Numidon doesn't have many archers. He's going to need them, though. The spear count is high. Bloomery also on the way in. We also have the second stockyard being set up. Numidon, he's playing pocketed resources, which means he has to kind of just keep holding here because even though he's got the wall up, if there isn't an army here, Lucifron can just sneak in. Man, Lucy is just looking kind of unstoppable. I like that he's also not taking the bait of Castle. In this position, a lot of Golden Horde players seek an out of the age moment. And that's difficult. You can't rush it. You can often get caught doing it. Instead, he looks to just exploit the advantage by going bigger and bigger. Just that, more Keshiks. He's got so many spears, he doesn't really need that many more. Keshiks can beat both of these things with quantity. Archers and knights. Raid in towards the gold. Invites the spearmen through. Knights starting to spread out here. The mining camp is helping out a little bit. A pullback slightly on the north side. The Keshiks try to get out of the way of the spearmen to let them in. And the knights are getting mincemeat here. TC5 to try and help out. It's going to be forced back. Looks like the Karash was helping out a lot with the spearmen, but the knights on the other side were beating down the Tortugud. So all of a sudden, after that fight, look at the military difference. We went from, what, 48 to 30 to 31 to 27. Lucifron losing half of his spearmen on that dive. And this is grim, guys. He barely killed a soul. The knight count is still up at 17. And look at the health bars. This is the catastrophic feeling. If Lucifron had been able to find those killing blows on 4 or 5 knights, things look a little bit more shaky. But Numenor, just a great strategic positioning, now gives him control of the ship. Starts to step up again. Lucifron has at least added in additional stockyards here. That's the thing we're always keeping an eye on because Numenor doesn't have a transition out. He's got boar and berries to the north. The deer are about to be tapped over here. He hasn't started setting up farms. He has still got berries, but obviously an inferior gathering rate compared to boar and deer. Lucifron, he does know about his backup deer in the north, yeah. Maybe. Decent-sized group of archers now. I'm a little bit worried in this next fight for Lucifron now. I can kind of see what he's trying to do, trading spearmen out to get Keshiks online, but he hasn't reached scale. No, this is actually quite worrisome. Archers now starting to snipe those spears. Nimu will have to engage the knights. Lucifron forcing them out with the concave. Should be a good fight. The spearmen starting to break through on the east side. The knights looking pinned. If they move, the archers die. The spearmen count too high. That's the fight Lucifron needed. Bodies on the floor tell the full tale. The Keshiks in Tortugud keep pushing the matter. And the archers are going to have to be sacked here. Look at the health bars. You can't re-engage. Every re-engage, the knights are now dropping like flies. It's about going in again, but I'd think twice at this point. And maybe sustain one burst hit, and that's about it. Tortugud are starting to get around the back, and that's archers dead. They're gone. Lucifron just completely outflexed on that fight. I mean, Nivadon, it's so tricky to try and defend with archers like that. You have to hug them, and the moment you hug them, you don't have mobility anymore. This is the tricky trade-off of these type of comps. Archers, yes, Archer Knight's been historically very powerful, but the beauty of like spear spam here, very cheap, very fast, very aggressive. With archers as well, although archers are meant to counter spears, if you get up in their face, it's not as much of a counterplay as you think, because spearmen have got 8 base damage compared to 5 anyway. With the bonus damage capped out, you're doing 11 damage. Meanwhile, a spearman that has more health than you is going to be returning 9 damage. Right? So your advantage there as the archers is your mobility. But you notice that he's in this sticky predicament where to reattain ability to move with his archers, he has to expose his knights. I almost feel like for Lucifron, the saving grace there is that Numenor, instead of split raiding or anything like that, he went for a direct fight after we just praised him for keeping all those knights alive. While simultaneously, we have to remember, you may have kept those knights alive, but now they need time to heal. I'm just not getting it. Charge in there. Karash definitely helping out a lot here. And Tortugud, oh no, he finds the villagers! All right, this is over. There's been huge raids happening. Look at the eco count. 19 deaths now. That was it. Numenor, he got found big. War workers trying to stay alive, but this is the Hail Mary now. Numenor needs a big hit or he's dead. Honestly, he just kind of looks dead already. If he can idle out this farming area for like 2 minutes, maybe there's hope. That's a big ask. That's a tall order. That's a tall glass of milk to swallow. And the horse are on their way home now. Other problem is we just still don't see the farm transition. I think it's fair to say that like Numidan's in a pretty doomed position. You just don't have the infinite food now. You're running dry pretty fast, like in the next minute. Whereas Luciferon already set himself up. And this is what I meant. Golden Horde's advantage is just how smooth this is. Look at the food situation. So many stock guards online while he was doing all this. Charging choke point. Sadly, like this is the reality as well. It's like Luciferon had been stuck fighting in choke points this comp. Maybe Numidan could do something, but instead just always gets caught in these awkward predicaments. And that delete on the GURP. That's why you don't fight near your opponent's base, because high-level players will get rid of that building in an instant to crush you out of the game. Best of 5? Yes, so this might be a quick series, because that's now 2-0. After which, we can hop into some of the other series. I think we might check in on B versus Corvinus afterwards. I thought Numu would have a little bit more say in things, but Luciferon's definitely been practicing. We mentioned he had that sneaky account, that Moyo Yo-Yo, with like 50 games played on the ladder. But he's clearly been doing a lot more training in private with his bro. Okay, so that being said, G3. And it is going to be... So Iobid's was sniped away from Luciferon against Japan. Numidan has Macedonians instead of Order of the Dragon. And we are going to be seeing 3 little picks. Is Lucy full-time? I don't think so. I forgot to ask him in London, but I'm pretty sure he has a Jurib. Whereas Vortex is still going full-time, as far as I'm aware. All right, wait, music. Oh, this song's so good. All right, should we do... I'm going to do 2 minutes ads. So you guys can get yourself a drink. We'll talk a little bit. Japan, easy win. I think Macedonians on a map like this can be a bit crafty, no? Varangian? Early Varangian might be spicy. Three whole pigs in this, right? You know what? You need to create a map that's just called like free ram. I don't I don't know what the thing's gonna be. If we had neutral walls, it'd be easy. You have to ram down the walls, right? But it's like you call it free ram, and then every game they can begin with like free ram in this economy. It's like I like that. Keep it. That's a good joke. You're so funny. I take a bow and everything, and it'd just be a whole thing. All hail what? The 3 little pigs? By the way, this tournament is next weekend as well. So this weekend is going to be the group stage, and then playoffs will be next week. Format is a GSL as well. Emlord has been streaming a lot lately. He probably wants to transition. Transition what? What are you on about? What, to being a streamer? Maybe. I think the tricky part with like being like, yo, I'm going to transition to streaming or whatever, is like, just transition. What you mean? You think he wants to move game? Where's that coming from? I think Marine Lord plans to shift anytime soon. Last time we tried that, Overwatch didn't work out too well. Heyo! I just thought it kind of funny that he was an Overwatch player. Not in a mean way. It's like, it's just kind of a weird thing for an RTS pro to have been, you know? It's the transitions people don't realize. Like I represent like a World of Warcraft raider who's actually really good at Counter-Strike. And I knew another one that was insanely good at League, like to the point that he was making thousands and thousands of dollars out of boosting accounts. All right, let's get ready to go. One and all, it's time for a brand new map. That's right. Welcome back to your daily dose of Age of Empires 4 action on Free Little Pigs. That's right. A brand new map that has been created and is being shown off in the EWC main event here between Lucifron and Numedan. It's going to be a Japanese-Macedonian matchup. The way this map works is that you have got these prongs just separating the map, but as you just saw when it's selected with a click, there is no fish. So if you're seeing Japanese, be like, well, it's just going to Shinobi Rush. It's not that type of map. There is literally no fishing, not even central fishing. It is just a design choice to try and split the map up, but also give maybe some transport ship plays and whatever else later on. Early on play, out into the deer coming from Lucifron. So little thing to note here is you do start with a deer stack right in front of your TC. I say right in front of it. It's at a range of your TC, but it is in front of it. And then your secondary is all the way in the corner. It does have that kind of King of the Hill vibe with the tree lines, but plays out very differently considering sacred sites are divided one a piece on the sides. So you can't really rush that as a win condition. You do, however, also have good vision control throughout the map via the abandoned outposts. The pit? Yeah, it's a lot like the pit. But the thing I like about it more than the pit is the pit, if you guys remember the pit, it's been a while since we've seen that map. You just walled, and it was very boring. In this map, because it's water instead of cliffs, you can't wall it. Like, you wall me... Let's say you put up stone walls here. I'm just going to go around. Right? Easy peasy. And news just in on the opposite. Myriad versus Beastie was a 3-2. Oh, 2. I was about to say, yeah. There's no way they've done that quick, Lamau. Dude, Miri Chad is big. What the hell? I warned you guys. I said he's moving on up. Do we finally see Varangians building ships? If there's wall ups, but I just don't think there's going to be. Because like the other thing is you can technically build the war camp at the shoreline and get boats. Which we've never, ever seen someone do. Right? Chat will confirm if I'm wrong on this. I don't think we've ever once witnessed someone do that. And look at that score. Wow. Lucifron went deer and lost the sheep game. 17-11. A dominant position right now for Numedan. There is an opportunity for Lucifron to try and make up some in the corner, but I'm not seeing any sheep down here. So final score on sheep is definitely going to favor Numu. Scout just move across now. Imperial Hippodrome versus the Kura Storehouse. Really nice positioning, actually. Like, the distance, it's not perfect. You've got half a tile wasted, actually. But big fat tree line effect. You know, technically, here's a funny fact for you guys. You can build a Kura Storehouse out on, like, the gold. Get Nah, don't do that. For the stone, it might have been cool, but the stone is, like, too far away. If it was one more tile closer, you could go, like... Actually, I think that might be perfect. You could drop a Kura here because it's a universal drop-off building. It's just no one wants to do that because similar to an Arhan Chapel, it looks like a really tasty spawn spot, but then you remember you just built a landmark away from your town center. Which is ever so slightly dangerous. And by ever so slightly dangerous, I mean insanely dangerous. It's like, it's a death sentence. Oh, we need to do predictions, don't we? Keep forgetting that. So, Lucy with G2 win. Fantastic micro to turn that one around. This was one of the other civs I noted as a specialist element for Numedan. Something you should be like scared of. And a ball pull early on. Okay. Now that is interesting. Because Lucifron has opted into Spearman already. Scout does slither away right at the end there. Nicely played. Ball. We'll need an outpost to feel secure. Which he hasn't done yet. What's the best economic landmark in the game? Regnitz, probably. You have to split it up by age, right? It's like very different. Like age 2 is pretty obviously going to be like what, Aachen for most people. And oh no, if he gets the body blocks, he's going for it. Lucifron. Oh, the villager blocked him. One more block's all it takes. Shivs are going to come out. The scout's going to try to finish this off, but it's going to be a challenge. Good time bought there. Numidan's response on point. Villager will get away alive because of it. Great mobility of the villagers to just block the pathing there. Lucifron has revealed his spears, which means Numidan, Varangian Stronghold should be coming in. We should be seeing an archer switch out of him momentarily. Lucifron starting to get those free farms in. Hasn't microed onto them at all, though. That's a little bit of a problem here. It's just kind of wasted efficiency. He's gone out into berries instead, which, I mean, he has got Tawara, so it is a better gathering rate for sure. But this is going to run out as a temporary source. So it's like Lucifron has basically chosen burst food gathering over constant. And the Yumi switch up is underway. I'm not sure I like this position for Japanese. It's very different when you do Yumi in Castle Age. I think the kill thresholds and everything, very, very different. And that matters a lot. Early on in Feudal, this is like a decent position to be in as Macedonians. Bogmather and Horsemen. Sure, you're paying more out for your archers. But because your opponent got forced into Spearmen, you already have so much value in going archers in the first place. Yeah, I don't know. Best economic landmark. Actually, like, I don't know. If it's any age, is Schwabia still on the menu in people's minds? Probably not, because a lot of people get it so late in the game. I think as a general slot it in and it works all the time and is great, you're probably talking about either Fulani Corral for the Malians or Guildhall from the French. Because those always feel applicable and valuable to have. Guildhall in particular, actually. I'd probably say if you're talking, you know, 10-minute game, 50-minute games, 2-hour games, etc., Guildhall wins. Best eco landmark for sure. Champions now arriving. This is the Horseman one, so this buffs up the damage of all nearby cavalry by +2 damage. Lucifron should have Daimyo coming, or did he build an outpost? No, it's just he's not giving any more gold. Okay, so like the stone's just way off. He's switching 4 onto the gold now, though, which suggests maybe there's a cheeky idea here to sliver up. With 18 on food, definitely feels like there's potential. Numi. Playing very defensive considering his comp, actually. Yeah. The thing is, until you've got the Ridari champion, you can't really just mobilize and kite away from the Yumi. Remember, Yumi are quicker. So just showing a lot of respect there. Although Bogmather are tankier, and with a runestone drop they have better range, the problem is, this early on, you don't have a runestone. You have no way of actually getting that movement speed. Villagers now heavy on the wood because of that. This is at least a nice thing. I think this map is pretty desirable for mass archering just because you know it will never run out. Whereas the food feels more limited. You've got 5 deer, then 7. Sheep count isn't any higher than a standard map. It's 29. So like with that in mind, I'd say this puts you in kind of a tricky spot. It's like when you're trying to play mass knights, etc. Or mass horsemen, should we say. Very difficult to get that meaty blob together on the food you have. I like that, actually. I feel like it's been a while since we've had a good archer map added, you know? Most of the new maps coming through just had a bit too much value in things like pro scouts historically, so you just saw more and more knight strats, which has been the dominant factor for a very long time. Lucifron, I was about to say, might want to switch more to gold. He's going to shift across 3 now, so definite castle play coming in from him. Numidan, however, he's not done loading. He's been at the back of the room slow loading a revolver. He's now looking to flick it and take his shot. Yeah, he's all in on the push. Archer, Horseman Q indicates just as much. The tech's coming in as well. He's finally got his hands on the first cavalry tech. 8 on the gold means he's looking to rush an additional tech here. Undermesh would make a lot of sense, just increasing the cavalry's health further, but like, might genuinely be worth leaning into your archers as a priority. This front might be forced to actually add in a few more troops here. Final farms seem to be placed. He's starting to utilize them too. Considering the way this is playing, it could actually be a good idea for him to try and creep out onto an additional ball. Bit risky, but it feels like your goal is to stop your opponent reaching castle anyway. Race begin. Horsemen get the clash. Baits the spearman forward. Backline of archers from green, just trying to get that trade out. Spearline is finning. 6 left alive, but this is scary. Lucy, he's going to lose the anti-cav. And that's when the flooding can begin. Numenor with that extra ounce of health coming through here. And Lucy has to retreat underneath the town center. A good start there. Numenor basically just trading out. Felt like archers to get spears, really, for a lot of it. Does, however, run away entirely. I understand the need to get more troops out, but you've got to be a little bit suspicious after you saw the state of that fight. Like, Luciferon's holding something back. This will make it more obvious now. He's got Daimyo on the way. Got Daimyo on the way. You've been gathering a decent amount of gold at this stage to get it as a secondary resource on the stone. So, should be kind of the alarm bell if you see a Yuumi Bannerman coming out that your opponent is teching. Numenor, dog with a bone, man. This guy is always so enjoyable to watch when he goes attack. I'm not the craziest fan of like late game boomy Numenor. He has this bad habit of going towards that sometimes. It just means you know you're going to be waiting 30 minutes for him to do what he's doing. But something I've always given him credit for is like his first 14, 15 minutes of gameplay. If he sees an opportunity to strike, he does not hesitate. And wait a second. I didn't even note this. In the corners, there's Lost Ronin. He just recruited... Wait, this is heretical. You just recruited Ronin against Japan? In fairness, they are mercenaries. Of course, of course. Maybe we should just go down here and get another few Ronins. The crazier thing, guys, is if he'd actually gone for Varangian Guard, their stats would have been getting padded. Because he could have done the infantry upgrades. Dive in here, though. The workers... Wait, what? Oh my god, the stables workers get taken down. The pathing a little bit weird. Horsemen now circulating around towards the farming area. The Yuumi is actually just being ignored at this stage. As Numenor looks to take value elsewhere. He's still at the champion. In fact, things are about to get a lot scary. Numenor's newest, freshest champion should be on the way. The Radari champ. He's in. This guy is unkillable. Oh boy. It's almost a 10-worker lead. Now it's going to be a panic rush to try and finish it off. No textiles, remember, so it's just going to have to sacrifice some unit to stay in the way. Horsemen are now start slipping in. Tech up does complete. Goes to the stables in a rush. Cavalry do get in the way, but he's able to body block his way through and make it into the town center. But it will cost him additional workers in the process. The Ronin are back from their coffee break. They finally arrived from the other side of the map with the Radari champion here, making them even quicker for the dive. He's going to start looking onto the workers again. A bit more idle. Problem here for Luciferon, you know, he may have the stables Yoroshiro'd, but he doesn't have any food income. And is now down 12 workers. Guys, that was all the Ronin, right? Like, we're... Alright, let's not meme too hard. The Ronin was a cute idea. I think the concept of what Numu tried to do there would have been 10 times more effective if he'd taken the enemy point of interest in the south. Because then he could have spawned Ronin here and rushed the gold while the whole dive was going on. And Luciferon's less likely to even see it, not to mention the fact you'd arrive in time. But here we go. Golden Horn Town now on the way. He's going to lock in the center. Great timing as well, because Luciferon just does not have the economy to have the knights out earlier. First one has spawned. Thing is, Luciferon doesn't know where this landmark is going. He knows about the boar. He's going to check over there even. If the boar had been the place you tried to secure, you can see it's backfiring, but it's just a smart play by Numu. This is an 8k vein of gold. You need gold a lot when you play Macedonians, and you know what other civ in the game thrives off of gold? Japan. Japan, it feels like it's paramount to them in a lot of cases. You know, it used to be a long time ago due to foot samurais. Nowadays, due to the mountains. Yuumi upgrade has at least been queued. First crossbow is, of course, going to start producing. Remember, it takes just under 2 minutes to get 3 crossbowmen out every time from the Golden Horn Tower, while also providing a very strong defensive point now in the center of the map. Love the wall up, by the way. He did go for that second ball we talked about earlier, but he actually walled off the area, similar to Pit. But the cool thing here, remember, is like Japan, if they ever needed mobility to get around this quickly, they could dock drop, build a transport ship, and just go up and down the coast raiding. Which is more what the Macedonians would have done. But, you know, irony. I actually think transport ship play is kind of sick on this map. Because your opponent's playing like this with wolves as a safety net, and then you've got to consider the gold placement. But the golds are just so close to a C raid. Sams will begin to hit the wall. Unamusha production now from Lucifron. Very smart choice when you're up against Ridari. Ridari, very tanky, very effective, heavy cavalry traders. But the problem that we'll run into is when you start to get kited a little bit, and Onimusha have that ability to chase down and kill. Yeah, I think something that is interesting with Japan is just when you think they've hit their peak, they kind of ramp up in a different way. And the thing with Japan more recently has been players getting substantially better at using Onimusha early. On the walls, he's trying to protect here. Secondary wall up is coming in. And, oh, we went for a mango emplacement. Okay, that does kind of complicate things here. Fun fact, mango emplacements do not care about deflective armor. Because deflective is for melee or ranged, and this is siege damage. So it's an easy way of tickling away at their health bars. There's no way to exploit around it. This Muminar's starting to get sniped out. Just look at the time he's buying. Lucifron is getting clustered way too much here. The fortifications are on the way, so if we can buy a little bit more time, Lucifron is going to struggle to penetrate this position. Going to turn around the torches now. Might actually get the burn through before the upgrade comes in. Villagers do go for repair. Radari do have to rejoin the fray. Meantime, Relic's on the way home from Lucifron as he does snatch one away. And he buys it. There we go. Fortification does come in. Another worker suffers the price, though. That will be enough, however, to get Lucifron away from the ball. Can't believe he actually got in there for the Relic got out. Did also force backup walls, which is just kind of wasted time for Numidan. Numu, who also, by the way, is now playing for Relics. So, one being ran home by both of them. A second town center now from Lucifron. Interesting choice to try and change this into, well, that's laggy, an economy game. Because remember, this Civ down here, it hates it when it's an eco game. Macedonians suck at playing economy wars. That's just a fact. We've seen it time and time again. They need early wins to scale an advantage. So far, he did get a hit. Right, he bought himself some time with the early win, but now he needs a way of sticking it to him. Kind of needs it fast, actually. Or the alternative is Lucifron could just run his knights underneath the Golden Horn Tower. Well, he knows where it is now. Drop to Yorishuri, gets the second TC to spur at the moment. I think it's kind of okay here, because now with the way that your opponent's playing Mass Ridari, you're playing Mass Onimusha, you are probably going to be playing more defensive. You want to play mid-bat, but you don't want to play overly aggressive. Like, your goal is to kind of whittle your opponent down. So that means the game's going to go longer. So I actually rate it. I think on this map as well, you just got so much wood that it sets up nicely for, like, a second TC with all that wood into, like, farm spam, right? Like, the nature of the map, as we just saw the wolves coming in at first from Numidan and now from Lucifron, although you can go around them with a dogs, it inherently just creates this situation where the game feels harder to push in. And also, if you misposition your push, you just feel like you lose the game, right? So, like, this was a very big thing on, I forget the name of it, the map where your TC started, like, here and here on the edges of the map, and there were cliffs all the way along. And then there was tree lines inside the cliffs, and you could go left or go right. And the problem, the fundamental design issue with that map is it needed a bridge over the center, because if you committed to the wrong side of the map and your opponent committed to the alternate and was faster, you just lost the game. You had to come back. You couldn't counterattack. It's very weird. Onimusha moving up. We do not have an Uman Bannerman. We got a Yumi one. Whoops. Yeah, so missing out on damage buff for the full line here. Now, something that's going to be important for Numidan, it's tricky to do compared to other civs, but Macedonians kind of need it, is after you start getting these trades a little bit, you're going to want to consider having 2 or 3 monks at home to heal. Unfortunately, you didn't get that much value out of spamming monks because it's only 2 relics so far. Looks like the split is actually going to favor Lucifron. Because the big problem I see in this matchup quite often is the Ridari are really threatening at first, and then they just run out. Like, their health pool just drops. Great start here for him, though. Lucifron maybe a little bit ambitious with that reach in. He's not respecting the archers. These are veteran Bog Muffin. Ranged armor 2 is going to be on the way in. Onimusha don't really have range advantage here either. Multiple reasons. So For a start with the Rodari champion, the gap close comes in quick enough that when you complete your attack, you're being shot back. Other thing, of course, when you start losing some troops to Vikings, they start dropping runestones. And the runestone effect for these archers gives them an extra range. It gives them 20% more range than standard archers. That's scary because it means actually you're then hitting the horseback archers first. Daimyo level 2 coming in. I like this. Luciferon really needs to get a few Uma Bannermen in the mixer. Ranged armor free. The other scary thing is like that attempt to raid on the south side that went awry is going to be so much harder now because, little fun fact for you, the range techs here do buff the Mangonel emplacements. And Macedonians have double the amount of upgrade possibilities to any other civ. Meaning they can get their Mangonel towers to almost double the damage of their base. Compare that to when you play as Byzantines, you can get +3 and that's it. On this civ, you can get +6, and it is +6 times 3. There. All siege damage, which means you are taking pure damage. It's a springald emplacement spam, by the way, is crazy here. 3 of them on the way in right now, so he's aware that maybe it could be like a counter rotation. It does look like Luciferon's throwing the game a bit, but the thing is, he's scaling an eco win, right? So although he can't win a fight right now, I think you kind of have to expect that. But by going Onimusha, although that sounds really dangerous, because Onimusha suck from behind, the idea is that you can kind of trickle trade and slow down the approach, right? Like, it's almost a feigned detail because realistically, your opponent shouldn't know about the second town center still. I don't think Numidan has been down here since that dive when the tech up was coming through. Down from the walls. He's forcing a reaction as well, so Numidan now guarding this side. He might go for a sacred... He's going for a sacred site win condition. That's so dirty. Okay, you know what I want to see from Luciferon? I want to see a dock drop for these trebuchets. Because, guys, with a dock drop, what you can do is you can sneak on, shoot shots, transport ship out, leave. You can be super cheesy with it. Looks like for now the trebs are meant to be for the Golden Horn Tower, but when he sees what's happening on the sacred sites, he'll get value there as well. Double outpost. Mango emplacements. Going to be coming in fast. Numidan even has 4 on stone to gradually get into these. We already have double mango in place. Okay, solo here. But it is a fortified outpost as well. This game is going to be one of those classic, this is just how toxic Macedonian Towers is, isn't it? Double trap now. Does Numidan have to worry about this? Kind of. He's trying to spread wide, and now he's going to have to worry about down the center. But that's meant to be where these outposts are go tier. This decap attempt, Luciferon technically could get it. Yeah, that's why you've got some archery. Because look what he's doing. He's splitting them up as much as possible, so the Mangonels just aren't wiping them. I like what Numa's doing, though. You see that? Garrison's inside, walks out at the last moment. So it will be a block on the decap. Luciferon pauses the timer. Cannot stop it. Jeez, the size of this army. Like when Denny's like 3 for 1 offer only this Tuesday. Everyone just turns up. One transport ship, the boys. I'd actually love to see it in this game, guys. Because like the thing that he could do is if he sets up a transport ship here and here, if Luciferon tries to move elsewhere, you can just mirror him every time. It's the Ooga Booga dance. Luciferon, very high quality army, by the way. Problem is, your opponent has got 37 Rodari. You know how he said, like, economically, Luciferon's stronger? Doesn't really feel like it right now, if we're being totally honest on this. And look what's now coming in. It's tier 4 armor for the Rodari. 8 ranged armor, 8 melee armor, and watch the health ball. Boom, almost 300 HP on these big boys. Start to push in. Pace is on here. Could even think about starting to drop some runestones to keep that pacing going, actually. So far hasn't utilized them, which is a little bit odd, considering you have a full Viking force. You definitely have runestones here. Then it just keeps pushing. Lucifron trading poorly here. Military numbers are without a doubt dominant. Numenor, I think he's about to do it. Back up against the wall. He's going to pull one back here. This matchup that recently we've been seeing Japanese players get deep enough in the game to take the win. Numenor will not allow this time around. Sacred Sight was the arm twist to make sure Lucifron had to be present. And Numenor just stacked up for the death push off the back of that. Clash towards the TC now, but there's nothing left. It's just the ladies. And, you know, if there's like an unwritten law of history, it's that men don't just leave the women and children at home when the Vikings come raiding, okay? That doesn't tend to end well. Problem is, there are no men ready to body the front line here. 13 crossbow ladies on horseback is not going to cut it. And he's now going to start to see the second farm. GG coming in. Radari spam potent, but let's be real. Let's be honest about this. Those mango emplacements and that Sacred Sight timer is what kicked this into uncomfortable territory. I do not know why you are allowed to go up to potentially 6 damage on those things by late game. What's that? Like that one, I think, probably caught like the most toxic task. All right, there we go. So, let's update it. We're actually getting a bite back here. Also, didn't we say about... What map was it we were talking about? There's a map in the draft I mentioned with Lucifron's draft. It's kind of scary if he doesn't utilize a certain map early. Coastal. Yeah, I'm worried about Coastal, actually, being left this late. I don't think that bodes well for the draft for Lucifron, because it limits some of his picks. Like, actually, he already used Golden Horde, right? So that's not too bad. Tuklak will feel unusable there, probably. And Mongols might feel a bit funky. So I guess we're probably going there next. Coastal it is. It's going to be Delhi versus Ayabids. Let me check the draft bans. Okay, so Lucifron had John or Ayabids, and Numenor had China or Delhi. Dude, he's been trying to get that China through all series. It's just not happening. I'm going to run a 1.5 ads now, by the way. Oh, getting a little hot in here. Emma's taken the small slide inside the house. And Ezra is just like sitting at the back door with his back turned to it, sitting on the slide. Just wiggling happily. Wait for the new Buster Civ. Yeah, I haven't really been reading up too much on Yuffie's legacy. I didn't have any early insight or details allowed. So I've just been kind of like, oh, okay. Okay, I'm not feeling the Spyro vibes right now. Come on. I'll be real. Like, I don't know if anyone else gets this. It's not often it happens, but sometimes you hear a soundtrack that makes you want to play a game, and that's what this is doing for me in Yakuza. Because I only ever played Yakuza 1 and maybe 2. And they have so many of them now. I think they've started remaking the originals, right? But like, there's been like... Has there been like 6, 7... actual unique Yakuza games? It's quite a lot, right? They were very good for educating you on the yen system. Like, a sandwich costs how many thousands? What? Surely not. Alright. We do need to flip those scores around, though, don't we? I really need a UI for this. It's time, folks. Into the Coastal Cliffs. The one that felt like the nightmare point for the draft for Lucifron, but he has eat down Ibid pick here to try and crush the Delhi. What looked like it was going to be an easy stomper has now become anything but, as Numedan took 3 games, but was finally able to answer back. The question now is, can he take us all the way to a 5th game here and put a big question mark on Spanish dominance in AoE 4? Let's get into it. Coastal Cliff is going to be the map, so basically Dry Arabia missing a 3rd. The fishing not possible before anyone calls them noobs for not doing it. Delhi versus Iobid's a bit more of a delicate matchup these days than it has been in the past. Iobid's... I think people... The thing with Iobid's is Iobid's has gone through the same process Delhi had a few years back, where everything has become so well optimized, and it's become a much more scary Civ because of it, right? Definitely some potential here for Delhi still, for sure. But I think Iobid's, in this matchup, there's some cool bait and switches you can do around Logistics Wing and just 1 or 2 Desert Raiders into a fast tech that can usually catch Delhi off guard. The challenging part might be this spawn isn't exactly the most generous. Yeah, the berries feel all exposed. There's nothing easily for you to extend onto. Early sheep rotation is going to be key here, and I got to give him credit for that. Lucifron has made the edge. 4 extra sheep. Remember, both these civs play berries really well, so that advantage just doesn't exist. Both of them have it. What's more interesting now is what's left on the map. With the way they're cutting across it, even if Numedan gets ahead of him, Lucifron could just dial back to the south side and yoink more sheep where Numedan hasn't gone yet. And he sees it. Yeah, so he'll go back the other way. Numu basically has no choice at this stage but to go to the back of the base. He will yield 2 more sheep for that, but look at the flip side. 3 more sheep, meaning the overall Lucifron should be ahead by, I think, 5, 6 sheep. Damn healthy lead. About to get even better for him. Check this. Eco-Wing growth coming through. So, are you freaking kidding me? Is Lucifron a god? Do you guys see the food right there? 0 out of 250. He found the frame-perfect moment to stop gathering off of the close berry bush. That, I just... Dude, that is efficiency. Have I seen that before? That is a rarity to see. You have to get the absolute perfect moment not to despawn that bush. What a Chad. We'll want to shift off the north side because now, if he doesn't remember... If you don't remember this one, you're going to look like a noob. Lucifron ain't going to look like a noob today. Damn. Really well played. No wheelbarrow, so no risk of him over-exploiting the berries either. Lake along with mountains is more than a quarter? Yeah, it's like a 1/3. Didn't I say a 1/3? And sheep overall is going to be a 6 sheep advantage for Lucy. Remember, the reason he wants this bush to not disappear, by the way, is once Growth Wing completes, it's going to replenish with an extra 50 food. So every single orchard will get 50 additional food. It's not percentage-based. It's not like when you upgrade something, it's like, oh, you had 30 health left, but, you know, you're not going to get this 50 extra. You get like 10 extra because you're almost dead. It will just get the raw 50. Also, it's been a while since we've had Growth Wing. Used to make sense against Delhi. The whole idea is that you would be able to have a slightly better economy to begin with, to build tempo, to build an advantage very early on. And then you had to be careful about staying in feudal too long because Delhi tend to thrive off that longer feudal afterwards. So usually what IBID players would do, they'd use the extra workers early on to build out 2 or 3 extra units at the beginning, try to overwhelm Delhi at that point, and then switch to attack. Because although you feel like you've overwhelmed Delhi, it's very hard to end a game of Age of Empires 4 with 5 or 6 units. And that is your advantage, realistically. And although you could snowball that advantage, it is much easier, especially against a civ like Delhi, to snowball by taking attack. The first units have been queued by him. Horsemen going to be coming out from Lucy. And Rax to support. So he's anticipating Ghazi, which absolutely makes sense. And the cool thing is, if you force your opponent to archers, if the real goal is a tech play, you can just spam into camel lancers. All of a sudden, your opponent doesn't even have the unit that would be good against that. They'll be stuck with Ghazi archers, which don't want to fight camels. Oh, we've got predictions again. Where are my mods? Fired. Right, so Numidan with strike back. Game 4. Give you guys 2 minutes. I think the key here for Lucifron is probably to hide the Spearman. First one coming out. Just rallying them at home. Yeah, so he'll look for the raid to come in. Then it'll be, surprise Mother Ducker, I've got spears. Maybe your opponent loses 1 or 2 Ghazi, and then you get a counter-offensive opportunity. Pro Scouts has been queued up, by the way. That's still 3.5 minutes away. So not really a focal point just yet. What's going to be key is who has control after this first fight. Lucifron adding in the camel too. Sees the Ghazi, wants that debuff, makes sure that his horseman can actually contest the better Delhi horseman. Only difference is, at that point, your opponent paid more for the right to have something that is no longer better. Alright, predictions are heavily favoring Numidan. Really? In the current state of things, I'm a little bit surprised by that. Okay, that is maybe a little bit unusual now, though. Lucifron is going archers. I mean, we'll have archer to archer, right? I don't know if he was hoping to force spearmen. It just seems very unlikely a Delhi player would ever see what you're doing initially and say, I need spears. It's surprising, actually. Like, you'd think that Lucifron would go for just spear horsemen on the logic that your economy is at least better for the next 2 minutes, so you blob advantage. Which is exactly, if you remember what he'd done in the Golden Horde game, where he just built more crap to throw at his opponent. Never underestimate the value, folks, of having more crap. You want proof of this? Look at me and then look at all the millionaires. I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm winning in certain ways, but I can't afford a Lamborghini. And also, some of those millionaires hire me, so I guess they... I don't want to say owning a person is a win. We're in the 21st century. But... Numidan, he's sidestepping into Pro Scouts now. He must be running out of food. No, he's still got 12 sheep, so he's getting in there early. Wow, okay. I wonder if Numidan was expecting a tech play. Because his horsemen have been hidden, right? He's not really seeing much. Seeing what is he rallying for, but not the crazy abundancy coming. There might have been a sense that, oh, this is going to be turning into a tech play eventually, so I'll take my food while I can, and then I'll try to dive you when you tech. Props to him, Lucifron. 8.5 minutes in, no sign of aging. This might be a bit funky, but the thing that makes it good right now is your opponent has got no sacred sites playing for him, so no gold ingestion happening. Means he can't really afford mass scholars. We're not in a position where he's adding in, you know, the 7th, 8th, and 9th, like a rapid pacing, because every time he wants more scholars, he has to pay for them over here. Myriad is not going to clean sweep Beastie. So, okay, longer series there. Might be that we check that one out after this. We'll see how it goes. Lucifron. You know, this has, I think, been one of the most refreshing things out of Iber players. It's like we talk about taking the next level. This is a next level element. Go back a year, no one used spears. It's like the worst unit in the eyes of Iber players. It's like the least built unit of this entire civ. Despite the fact that because they inherit the Abbasid's perks, they basically have some of the best spearmen in the game. And also, they get better in certain ways than Abbasid spears. Because when you go Castle Age, you get access to that tech that gives movement speed and damage on kills, right? You don't get boot camp like Abbasid do, but you get your own unique tech. Lucifron, just make sure he's got enough horsemen so the archers don't feel threatened. I'm impressed by the army scaling of him at this point, actually. Horsemen, good find. Numidan, he left the archers a little bit too far out there. Dive is going to come in, so strike down there. Counter-offensive, not looking good. 2 Ghazi going down, a lot heavily injured, and the horsemen reaping the benefits of the situation here. Good movement there. I don't know if that's intentional. Numidan's scouts did absorb some of the blows, so it actually did minimize the losses. Numidan does get away with the rest of the archers. But the Ghazi need time to heal. Yeah, the boo-boos need to be kissed big time. This is where Delhi build their advantage, is like moments like that afterwards going and healing. Because if you get that breathing room that time, it means the follow-up fight will be better for you. So the goal now for Luciferon is to stop any sort of momentum shift by preventing that healing from coming in. Problem is, it's not doing it right now. Scholars are getting the wounds licked. Luciferon starting to hold some reserves of resource, but not teching. He also has not rebuilt the Desert Raider, but that might be intentional at this point because we're up to about 20 archers. Desert Raiders don't survive the start of the engagement. So the debuff is cool, but if you want to keep it, you're going to need to add in 3-4 Desert Raiders, which gets very pricey against Masgazi Archer. Like, remember, these two unit types are the best counters you have against Desert Raiders. I know that sounds weird because spears, but it's much easier to catch Desert Raiders with these two units. And yeah, he is getting ready for attack. May seem crazy because after that fight, like, didn't Luciferon kind of get a bit of favorability out of that? Sort of, because the scholars make the numbers deceptive, but these can now be combat scholars, right? But the problem you have to keep in mind is the longer the feudal goes, the worse it kind of gets for you. Because of the healing. Like, if you're not finishing them, they're getting healed. It's very weird with Delhi because you almost feel like they have this urgency to play for next stage. But because of things like the sacred sites accruing gold and the fact they can heal, they don't really need to panic away from feudal as much. You're going to see him reinvest from Lucifer. I think he just cancelled it though. Yeah, I feel like if the reinvest was going to be there, it probably had to be a little bit earlier. Because it's almost like the moment he saw the sacred site being captured, he's like, I need more troops. We have got 5 additional horsemen getting stacked in. I do wonder if Luciferon needs more spearmen, actually. 12 spearmen seems decent until you realize 16 Ghazi. By the time you reach the 16 Ghazi, you're probably down 4 spearmen. And that's when a flood can happen. Instead, is he going to dive the base? I think he is. Hold on. Luciferon is edging towards the economy. Bit ballsy, because technically your opponent can do the exact same thing. He's stuck here, but here's the interesting twist. If you go in, he can go in too. And they have a similar count of cavalry, remember. Horseman Spear's going to go for the burn through. Numidan. Wait, did he think this was going castle? Look at his economy. He was saving for it. I think he was expecting Luciferon to just give up and tech. Backstab coming through, though. Luciferon's going to have to stand his ground. He finally queued up a Desert Raider. It's not going to be here for this fight. The horsemen start to flood in. They're getting around the side. This is a good way of using the scholars, though. If you can get them in there, the horsemen will not snipe this fast. Yellow archers trying to take out Numidan's counter archers. Spear count actually surprisingly holding on. 8 left alive, but you would have thought these would have been the first thing to go. Instead, Luciferon brute forces his way through. He forces the Ghazi line to hold, and now look at the cavalry advantage over a 2-1. And the horseman spam continues. The scholars get sniped on the retreat. Luciferon has done it. That was a sick outplay. It was meant to be the divine backstab, but it put Numidan in a bind that he could not retreat from. When there's that much cavalry, you have to stand your ground and die in the process. Gigathron is going to make it a 3-1 score to close out the series, showing you that Iobids, they don't need castle anymore. They're just as good in the feudal. Damn, that was sick. That was a sick way of ending the series, actually. Like, the balls to just double down on horsemen when you're up against Delhi like that, I don't feel like that just comes easily. I don't know if that one's uploadable. Alright, so let's check in on the scores of the other ongoing series, and we'll hop into another set. So Myriad, apparently BC struck back. That's 2-1 now. Poppy Paul Voldemar still hasn't started because he still hasn't completed his other tournament. B is leading against Corvinus. Marine Lord is 2-0 up against Jif. Probable 3-0 there. And we just saw Lucifron with 3-1 victory. Outside that... Okay, oh wait, no, wait, what? Yeah, Vortex did 3-0 Scatterbrained. I thought Scatterbrained would at least get a game. God damn. So Scatterbrained already confirmed lower bracket. Anatan, as predicted, did 3-0 Core and slap him down there ASAP. Which series do you guys want now? Wham also beat SAS 3-0 as anticipated, so Wham is through to upper brackets. Because I think, is this rolling schedule? Which means that we would be able to go straight to Marine Lord versus Lucifron? I think so. Let me double check. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it is actually. We could check on M Lord and his series. Beastie Myriad? Maybe. Like, Marine Lord Lucifron's very intriguing to me, though. Yeah, okay, dude. We've got Lucifron versus Marine Lord, right? I believe so. Because it's rolling schedule. We definitely want to see that one. Let me see if they're drafting right now. They just drafted? I can't see the draft. Have you got the drafts? All right, so here's the choice, right? We can do Vortex versus B or Marine Lord versus Lucifron. Which one do you guys want? Because Vortex versus B is about to start too. I'm going to put a poll up for you guys. You can dance up and down it a little bit. What to cast? Marine Lord versus Lucifron or Vortex versus B. 2 minutes go. Actually, no, I'm filming the song right now. Give me someone else. Tough to choose. Or did people want Beastie versus Mirror? That one is mid-series, though. I thought you'd want the fresh series starting. Anyone know the game, by the way? It's a good game. Okay, Marine Lord versus Lucifron is winning. It's Wennerin. Like, historically, we've had a lot of Vortex and B on this channel. Remember, guys, we had that weekly circuit. You know, that thing that, like, we burnt ourselves out doing, that we put way too much time into every single week on and behind the scenes. Yeah, we've seen loads of Vortex B. Marine Lord, on the other hand, and Lucifron both weren't very active in the KPMM. It'll be interesting to see if Lucifron is up to par for sure. So let me see if they've started drafting. You don't have draft just yet. I guess we could, while I wait for the draft to come up, we could have the Myriad Beastie game up in the background. Wait, they updated this as well? I didn't notice this. They actually updated the default overlay too. Intriguing. All right. I need to find a way of easily keeping an eye on this, actually. All right, here we go, folks. Beastie versus Myriad, best of 5, and Myriad is indeed leading. He is currently 2-1 up, has French up against Order of the Dragon. We're just going to fast forward to get to live. And well, that's interesting. What a beginning. Myriad, by the way, he went 2-0 up to begin with. He almost clean swept Beastie in this game. This is an interesting beginning, though. Beastie, would you ever really be anticipating a Dark Age rush? I guess if Myriad wants to be greedy, it would make sense. But I thought the Wheelbarrow might be good enough. He just wants that safety down the line. I guess Gilded Horseman can raid into you. So we're just keeping an eye on this one, the opening, until we wait for Marine Lord Lucifron to start. But who knows? Maybe it's a quick game. Deer beginning coming in from Beastie. I haven't seen much Or the Dragon versus French. I don't know if you guys have. I feel like OTD has not been that popular as of recent. We'll see what Beastie can do with it. I mean, it's almost like an homage to his signature of HRE. School of Cavalry coming the other side. We're just going to stick to the fort between 2 and 4 XP just because it's like early game anyway. Arhin really to be expected here. I don't think Minework has that much value against French in particular because a few of the techs you're not thinking of. I think usually if you want to go Minework with Order the Dragon, you're looking for a situation where maybe Men-at-Arms make sense. The problem is when you're playing against French, Men-at-Arms shouldn't really ever make sense. Order the Dragon's had a renaissance of late. I've heard a little bit about this, but like it hasn't really shined through so far from what we've seen, right? I don't think... Did they win even once at Red Bull World Law? I don't believe they did. So tech up complete. Sheep Haul, by the way. Beastie got 13. 15 for Myriad. So tight but slight lead for Mirichad. And he also already has more villagers. And actually, like, I think he must have got a slightly bigger lead than expected here. Because remember, Beastie went deer first. So Myriad definitely feels like he won the sheep game. Yeah, 20 to 14 was the actual full score there. Now, what's the plan? We have got those Gilded Horsemen as expected. So great read by Myriad. He already anticipated the play and blocked it out. I do wonder why people don't just complete the wall in here sometimes. And I guess it's like... The problem is you think it's good to put wall and gate here, but if your opponent's burning you here, walling here is not going to make a difference. They can still mirror and block the move, right? We have seen some players take this strat to the extreme where they will wall all the way to the TC. Nice find. Looks like there was actually a play by Myriad onto the deer as well. Outpost is up though, so it's going to keep Beastie away. And night production has begun. First night's now arriving. We should be catching up to live momentarily. These boys might have to be fast because Marine Lord and Lucifron are indeed now drafting. Night's creeping. Good opportunity to try and raid in. Love that as well. He actually led with a scout, almost like paying attention, and also the arrow fire. Let's end up losing that scout now, though, because the Gilded Horseman can chase that down. Yeah, so minus vision. Pressure still being kept up over here, and we have now got Gilded Spearmen coming through. This is a bit of a tricky bind for French, no? Because you can't realistically just go archers now against Gilded Horsemen. It feels very dangerous. It's going to try, but my thoughts here is you can't bring them out, right? They have to stay at home. You have a problem with that, though, is if you stay at home, Gilded Horsemen can just dive you. Definitely an uncomfortable position then for him. I guess the thought here for Myriad is that he can kind of weather the storm, though. Is like over time, those Gilded Horsemen health bars, while big, will not replenish. Whereas the longer feudal goes, the more healing you effectively get out of French Knights anyway. There's definitely some merit there. Nice, the cutoff would be good here. Remember, the horsemen are quicker, so you have to find the strike-ins like this. Decent damage done. We'll just shift away. No point chasing that. You'll never catch him. Also, remember, because Myriad hasn't rebuilt the scout, any attempt to chase there can ultimately get punished. Do a little bit of speed up again. Get towards live. Farm's coming in early from Beastie. I think it's necessary. You're up against French Knights, so even though Gilded Villagers are tanky, you can't really be out in the deer safely. Other side, this Myriad. The rest of his spawn, Boar in the opposite corner. Long walk, but at least it's somewhere safe. His gold spawns may be a bit more of a predicament, considering this area doesn't feel fully secure. Dive coming in. Health bars aren't looking the best, though. Gilded Horseman already going down. Archers... Wait, what? Myriad? Okay. It's like seeing a guy with a rocket launcher pointed at you and pulling out, like, a little bow and knife. Like, yeah, you better fear me. In some ways, I'm like, damn, this guy's a psychopath. I should be worried. But at the same time, I'm just going to blow you up. Archers on their own don't really do much to the horsemen. I think Myriad was trying to offer them as a sacrifice to buy the village's life. Fairness to him, it did work at very little cost to himself. All right, do some more speed up here. BC has started to gather stone out, but no mining camp. Okay, he is going to realize quickly. Ah, he's doing this to the outpost. So he's going to build a mill. That'll give him the stone drop off, and that'll give him enough for arrow slits on the corner spawn. Maybe even fortification, actually. Just keep speeding up. Moving out to the deer now from Myriad. He's going for a castle play. Makes sense. Your opponent's setting up farms. You don't really want to mirror that. The cool thing about rushing towards castle here, you get guild hall, which is going to be your eco booster. There we go. He's going to be on the way, so we'll be able to switch that to food ASAP. Gilded horsemen are marching around the flank here. Archer Count is about to go down. The villagers have to shift away as well. Nice move in there. And the perfect time to find the guild hall. The knights aren't here. They were meant to be raiding on the other side of the map. Instead, it's going to be him forced away from the tech up. BC found the pristine movement to strike into the base of Myriad. Wow. And remember, these Gilded Horsemen, 250 HP. They don't die fast. They take ages to die. The idle time that can be achieved, the worker kills being achieved here, means everything to Beastie. And he cannot be raided on the other side of the map because he's got 16 Gilded Spearmen. The equivalent of 32 standard Spearmen to guard his base with. Damn. A sick 1-2 maneuver. Guildhall will now be finished off, but Myriad definitely feeling a bit battered after that one. The idle time, the fact he lost 5 workers, the fact that Beastie won't be that much later on age up either. I wonder, yeah, I was about to say, you got to start thinking about relics here. Is there a world in which Beastie says, that's a Regnant's game? It's a little bit tricky with the amount of knights left on the field, but when you've got this many spears, you know you could force a full defensive strat. I think you probably could get away with Regnants here. It sounds greedy on Order of the Dragon, but if there was a position that was viable, this is the one. Definitely still safe to go Burgrave. You save so much resource. So either would work here. And here's going to be Burgrave. Yeah. He just plays it safe, because the reality is, as long as you're constantly pumping out the Burgrave, which you probably always going to want Spearman, it's like the equivalent of having 3 relics already. Those spears will have to retreat now. Veteran Super Archers is on the way from Myriad. It's going to take a little bit of time to get towards, though. We should be able to hop across to Marine Lord versus Lucifron shortly. We'll just keep speeding up here. Is Beastie going Imperial? No, he's just waiting for the Knights. I was like, holy hell no. There's no way. Stone gathering as well. Mira just trying to get that castle drop and the discounts in. I wonder if he's going to be trying for like a semi-fast imp play. All right, we've reached live. The question now, guys, is do you want Lucifron versus Marine Lord, or do you want to see the outcome of this? And then we hop across. Choices. Well, relics are at least coming back. That's a big boon, but it's been mirrored by Beastie already. Spearmen, they're so tanky. 220 HP. And they hit like a truck. Will be forced away, though. Looks like he's got enough archers to insta-kill them. So well played by Myriad. Doesn't freak out. Stands his ground well. Gilded Knight spam is real here, by the way. Beastie has got so many farms already set up around the Arhan that he can enable himself this, and the ball play in the corner. Gilded Knight's also immensely valuable because look at Myriad's knight count. Eviscerated. Non-existent. Only 5 knights as a French player at 16.5 minutes in castle is unheard of. Like, that's just not how this Civ plays. Oh, man. You just see how much of an impact those horsemen had. The Gilded Knights now just blocking out relic retrieval, giving advantage to Beastie. Archers are at least going to go for the trade out here, buying time for the Knights to re-engage. But my concern is the Gilded Knight count is about to be higher than French Knights. What do you do from there? Let's get the clash in, essentially absorbing the shots of the Archers. And the Knights are going to target fire down. So well played there, getting rid of the Gildeds. We'll be able to sweep through the Spearmen. Things turning about for Myriad right now. Raids are going to start coming in, but the castle dropped just in time there as the dive is coming through. Unfortunately, no castle for out here. The Gilded Knight finds the gold workers. And this is everything. Remember, this is the gold. Full stop. Myriad has no other way of getting gold, i.e. no other way of getting knights at all, or arbitrary. Anything that would answer what's happening right now. Beastie just continues to reap the souls. Gilded Knights. Actually looking good, and ironically, of all things in a game against French, is just such an oddity. You gotta give him props to this. We're about to just raid in and out of the base. A few knights left over to try and contest this, but it is getting a bit grim. The food income tells the full tale. Feels like BC's throwing? Not necessarily. He brute forced for the relics, and he won the relic game, right? Like, he's ahead by 1 relic. With the remaining ones... Actually, maybe not. Myriad, actually, they have them very close to the base. And he yoinks it. He just needs to get it out now. The concern here you have to keep in mind for, like, Myriad is his army is primarily just archers. And if you're being fair here, if you talk about who can build more knights, just look at the food income. Like, that would be my chief concern. I think that's why Beastie has played this the way he has. Is until Myriad solves his food problem, which is so hard to do right now, Beastie can just kind of outmass it. Is the idea. Gonna try to creep the relic away, but it does seem like Myriad noticed. So the outpost may have snitched on him a little there. He was a bit slow to pull away too. The relic game will swing back towards Myriad. That's gonna be a 3-2 divine. The Burgrave is non-stop pumping, and the Gilded Knight again! Are you kidding me? No outpost, no safety, nothing. He put a second mining camp up. All right, 1 HP Knight is going to go down. Some idle time being forced there. And now the dive on the front. He catches him without any guard here. Arbitrary have only started producing. They're not out yet. We'll club down a few workers. More idle time being achieved. Gilded Knight's diving a castle is ambitious from Beastie. Questioning him not backing away sooner there. I think he's trying to min-max because you see the health. Yeah. He's got 5 prelates, so he wants to pull them back and heal them 1 by 1. He wants to ambulance them. But did actually lose 1, which remember, every single Gilded Knight going down is the equivalent to losing 1,000 resources. It is expensive. Inspired Warriors buff as well. Remember, this is the best unit for Inspired Warriors. Inspired Warriors is a percentile damage increase as well as movement speed. 15% damage when you're hitting for 36 damage. Extra 5 damage. Goes pretty damn far. That's true. After Gilded Hand Cannoneers, but you're not getting those in Castle. I'm actually pretty impressed with the way BC's played this, to be honest. Everything felt like it should have made sense for French, but that I think that one Gilded Horseman raid just really slapped the taste out of his mouth on this one. Double outposts with defenses coming in. Knights trying to raid there, but with Spruan replacements, gonna be tough. Remember, these are also gilded villagers with textiles. They don't die that fast. We'll just get the garrison and a game of Ring of Roses here. I want to peel a few knights to protect this. In fact, they are on the way, and they are Gigabuff Knights. God, it hardly seems fair. 400 HP, 41 damage. 7 melee armor. And then this. This is the guy that you're told not to worry about right now. He's even bigger than me. It's like, you're like, oh, you're so tall and you're so manly. What does that guy you talk to every day do? He's just an NBA player. There's nothing to be concerned about. What? And just look at the size of them. They look like they would crap out logs bigger than the French knight's arms. More spoon emplacements, dude. Honestly, I think this is where Beastie feels most comfortable. Is like when you get to this kind of turtly point with the Civ. It's the same with HRE, right? It just felt like such a good Civ for this.